welcome back to the deep dive. If you're following the auto industry's push toward electrification, the whole thing, the entire transition, it really hinges on one single component.
The battery.
The battery. It's the bottleneck, it's the biggest cost driver, and it's the tech that everyone is trying to crack.
Right.
Today, we're zeroing in on a really big strategic shift by Stellantis. They've just put capital into this French startup, Tiamat. And what's so interesting is the tech they're backing, it's not lithium-ion.
Nope, it's sodium-ion.
Exactly.
And our mission for you today is to really unpack how this investment in a completely different battery chemistry links right back to their huge Dare Forward 2030 plan.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into a solution that could solve the EV world's biggest problems all at once, cost, and this massive resource scarcity problem.
And our sources on this give us a really full picture, from the C-suite strategy all the way down to the material science. The discovery here is why sodium, an element that's just so abundant and cheap, might be the key to making EVs affordable for everyone.
And ending that dependence on some pretty tricky supply chains.
Okay, let's unpack this. We should probably start with the original strategy.
To get why the sodium investment is so important, you have to go back to the original blueprint. So Stellantis launched Dare Forward 2030 in March 2022.
And it was incredibly ambitious.
Oh, yeah. They were aiming for carbon net zero by 2038.
And the EV targets were, they were aggressive. 100% battery electric vehicle sales in Europe and 50% in the U.S.
Both by 2030. They were completely all in.
But then reality hit.
The market hit back is what happened. Our sources all point to major market friction. And it really came down to the sticker price of the EVs they were selling.
The lithium-ion ones.
The lithium-ion ones. The customers they weren't buying them fast enough to justify that kind of aggressive mandatory switch.
So that forced a pivot, right?
Yeah.
We saw reports that they were officially walking back from that 100% BEV mandate in Europe.
They are. They started emphasizing freedom of choice.
Which is corporate speak for, we need to sell other cars too.
Precisely. It means they now have to support a multi-energy lineup, hybrids, gasoline cars, right alongside the BEVs.
The market just wasn't ready for those prices.
Exactly. And that's where the Tiamat investment becomes this critical strategic move. It's a direct response to that affordability problem. If Stellantis can get a truly cost-effective battery, their whole new flexible strategy actually works.
Because if the BEV is genuinely price competitive, the customer's choice will naturally follow. You don't need a mandate.
That's the idea.
Okay, so the strategy pivot makes sense. But the science, this is where it gets really interesting for me. How do you get lithium-level performance from sodium?
Well, let's dive into that. Tiamat spun out of France's top research institute, the CNRS. They even got a Stellantis Ventures Award last year.
And their entire focus is on batteries that are completely free of lithium and cobalt.
And nickel. It's all powered by sodium. And the thing you have to understand is just the sheer scale of difference in availability. Sodium is the sixth most abundant element on Earth?
We're talking about table salt, basically. The stuff you put on your fries.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild that a global automaker's future might hinge on that.
It is. And that abundance gives Tiamat two huge advantages. The first is what you could call material sovereignty and sustainability.
Right.
By getting rid of lithium, cobalt, and nickel, you're suddenly free from massive supply risks. Projections show that lithium and nickel capacity could be almost 50% below demand by 2030.
50%, wow.
Yeah. So using sodium means you have strategic independence. You can build your supply chain locally in Europe, and you're not reliant on, say, China.
And that material advantage must feed directly into the second big benefit, which has to be cost.
That's the whole game. The raw materials are so cheap and so available that the cost per kilowatt hour just plummets. This is their direct path to making mobility that's clean, safe, and crucially affordable.
And what about the performance metrics? Because that's what sinks a lot of these alternative chemistries.
Yeah.
But Tiamat's numbers seem to directly attack all the consumer pain points.
They really do.
They're talking about a full charge in just 5 minutes. 5. That completely erases the refueling time advantage of a gasoline car.
It's a game changer for getting people to switch. And then you add the durability. They're talking over 5,000 charge cycles while keeping over 80% of the capacity.
Plus, better safety from the chemistry itself. It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does.
But we know sodium-ion usually has a lower energy density than, say, high-nickel lithium-ion cell, and that means less range. So how does Stellantis plan to deal with that trade-off? Because range is everything to consumers?
That is a great question, and it gets to the heart of their strategy. They aren't trying to replace high-range BEV batteries right away.
Okay.
They're leveraging the strengths of sodium ion, which are its low cost and its amazing power density. To really get it, you have to look at Tiamat's product roadmap, its phase.
Okay, so walk us through it. How are they rolling this out?
It starts with their Gen 1 cell. This one is all about power. It offers about 80 to 110 watt-hours per kilogram.
Which, for context, is pretty low for a long-range car.
Very low. But that's not the point of Gen 1. It makes up for the low energy with an incredibly fast 10C charge rate.
And what does 10C mean for someone listening?
So C rate is just how fast you charge relative to the battery size. 1C means a 1-hour charge. 10C means you can, in theory, charge it 10 times in an hour.
So that's where the 5-minute charge comes from.
That's it. So Gen 1 is perfect for things that need quick bursts of power, like 48-volt mild hybrid systems, power tools, that kind of thing.
So not range, it's about rapid acceleration and energy recovery. Exactly what a mild hybrid needs.
Precisely. And they've already proven this works. Tiamat was actually the first company in the world to commercialize a sodium-ion product. It was in a power tool, late 2023. They've also tested it in Formula 4 racing. So the power is there.
Okay, that's Gen 1. What comes next?
Then you get Gen 2, and this is the one targeting full BEVs. It's energy-focused, aiming for 140 to 160 watt-hours per kilogram with a still very fast 5C charge.
Now, 160 is still below top-tier lithium cells, but it's getting much closer.
It's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for a moderate-range commuter car. You know, the affordable entry-level BEV that Stellantis desperately needs in its lineup. And I think they can push that to 180 in the future.
So the Stellantis investment is basically meant to pour fuel on this fire and get it to industrial scale in Europe.
Yes. The money is going directly into building Tiamat's own sodium-ion gigafactory in the Haute-de-France region. It's all about building a local European supply chain.
And what's the timeline on that?
It's fast. Production is scheduled to start by the end of 2025. And the plan is big. They're aiming for 5 GWh of capacity by the end of 2031, creating over 1,000 jobs.
So this is very real.
It is.
Yeah.
And if you connect the dots, you can see Stellantis is playing a very smart multi-chemistry game. They aren't just betting on sodium ion.
Right. They're also invested in solid state with Factorial and lithium sulfur with Letten.
Exactly. Sodium ion is their geopolitical and cost hedge. It's their safety net against the very volatile, very expensive lithium supply chain.
This does bring up a key question, though. We already have a cheaper lithium chemistry, LFP, lithium iron phosphate. Why wouldn't Stellantis just stick with LFP, which is already scaled up, instead of going down this new sodium-ion path?
And that is the core competitive question. LFP is definitely cheaper than high-nickel cells, but it still needs lithium.
So you're still exposed to the price swings and the geopolitics.
You're still exposed. And more than that, LFP has some real performance trade-offs. It struggles with fast charging, and its performance in cold weather is notoriously poor.
So sodium ion solves the two big problems LFP can't really fix.
It does. It gives you a path to cost parity that is totally separate from the lithium market, and you get that incredible 5-minute fast charging.
A feature that LFP just can't match.
Right. So sodium ion isn't just a hedge on cost and geopolitics. It's also a hedge on critical consumer performance.
So if you step back, what this all really means is that the push for EVs is real, but the path has changed.
It has.
It's moved away from these rigid top-down mandates toward a focus on making the tech actually viable for normal people, making it affordable, and making the supply chain resilient.
Practicality and price sensitivity are driving the evolution now, not just regulations. And Tiamat cells are a perfect example of that.
You know, the journey we've mapped out today really shows how securing local, sustainable, and cheap materials like sodium can give a region like Europe a lot more energy and industrial independence. It makes you think, what other common materials are just sitting there waiting to be used in next-gen tech to get around these global choke points we all face?
And that's the key. This kind of focused investment, moving research from a lab into a real local factory, that's what will solve the big hurdles of the EV transition. It's the move that ensures affordability isn't the thing that holds it all back.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Stellantis' big pivot and the future of car batteries. Remember, getting up to speed on these complex topics quickly is what we're all about. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure you subscribe to the channel for our future deep dives. We'll see you next time.